Hey guys, Marmalade with Marmalade Outdoors here, and what is up everybody? I have some kind of exciting news that's been building for a while. In my quest to get everything in my pack lighter, of course, but also physically smaller, I've been researching something for a long time, and I decided to finally pull the trigger. It's taken a while to get the pieces and parts together, and today I'm going to introduce you to it and also set it up for the very first time. And what is it? So it is almost March of 2023, and if you followed me at all and followed my quest to finish the PCT, I have had the Z-Packs Triplex tent since spring of 2020. And so it's basically 3 years, just a couple months shy of 3 years. And I really enjoyed it. It's 25.3 ounces, so much lighter than anything I've had before. I firmly believe in DCF. It's pretty much, unless something new comes out, the only thing I'll ever use. I won't go back to sil nylon, but the only thing is that it's not heavy, but there's ways of going lighter. Also, it's physically big in my backpack. My goal is not only, as I said, to get lighter and physically smaller, but I want to get to I currently have a 60 liter pack. I want to get down to a 40 or smaller, and that will save me weight in the pack itself. So in quest to do that, what did I get? I got the Z-Packs DCF flat tarp. This is a 10 foot by 8.5 foot. So it's rectangle, and it weighs in at 7.1 ounces instead of my tent that's 25.3. So I'll go over some of the benefits of this and why I'm going to attempt to use this. Now remember, I still have my triplex. If I go on some hikes where I need it, or maybe there's really exceptionally bad weather and things like that, I might bring it just for luxury. But there's a lot of reasons why I want to go with this, not just the weight, but let me, real quick, let me grab the other tent there. 7.1 ounces, this is 25.3. So the other thing is the physical size. I don't know if you can see that or appreciate it, but yeah, it's about, I want to say, a third of the size. So that is one thing. So imagine putting this in my pack versus this thing. The other thing I did was, it's going to be a whole system now. So, and I'm going to attempt this in the next few hikes I do and just practice with this. I am not expert. I'm going to set up the tarp for you at the end here, just on a standard kind of A-frame shape. I'm going to make another video showing different ways that once I learn and practice with it, I'm going to do a video on some different ways to set up a rectangle tarp. But let me grab, the other thing I ordered with this is that there's a few other things, so let me grab them. Okay, so the second part of this system is the ground sheet, and this is my triplex one. Obviously it's a 3-person tent DCF. I have a new DCF. I got the Ultraplex one for a couple things. Not only the physical size, this is 4.3 ounces, this is 2.6. So saving weight there, not a lot, but a little bit. And look at the physical size of this. Also, with the setup, when the weather's good and it's not buggy, I want to cowboy camp more often. So the Ultraplex was the right shape. It's 88 inches long, and it's 34 inches wide, so just enough. You know, I'm 6'3", so I'm 75 inches, and this ground sheet's 88, so it's just enough to get me on there. And if I move around a little bit, or even put a little bit of my gear on the edge of the ground sheet, so that is the theory behind this. So this will work whether I am cowboy camping or if I want to put it under the tarp when it's bad weather. One other thing I wanted to mention about the tarp real quick is I just spent a little bit of time. It took me a while to decide how long to make my guy lines. What I decided to do for the A-frame, for the long ones that are with the two main ends of the long ways are 8 feet long. My 4 corners are 6 feet, and then the two middle on the sides are 4 feet. That's what I decided on. I could cut them shorter, maybe make them longer, but I bought this 2.0 millimeter bright line from Z-Packs. So this adds 1.7 ounces. I bought an extra 50 feet for this just in case. I thought I needed more, but I think I'm not going to need this. I'm going to have it in case I need it. The next bunch of backpacking trips, like I said, it will be a test to see whether I need some of the other tie outs. There's a lot of tie outs on this tarp. I'm just trying to figure out, you know, every single tie out or guy out I bring is more weight and more stuff to deal with out there. So I want to bring the minimum amount, but I want to make sure I have coverage, especially if it's bad weather from rain, things like that. All right, the last thing for this system is, I'm going to read it right here because it's Sea to Summit Nano Mosquito Pyramid Net. It weighs 2.9 ounces, and this is my solution for the bug season. And let me read the measurements off of it. One thing it has is, I'm going to show it to you, but it's a single use, so it's not a real wide one, but it's purposely just made for me. It's got a tie out that's not in the center of this bug net tent. It's kind of more over your face, if you could picture, and I'll show you later the tie out so you can, when you pull it up the underside of the tarp or up off a tree limb or something like that, it's getting the highest part over your face so you have more room when it comes to moving around or sitting up and changing clothes, things like that. So let me see the measurements here. All right, so it says it's 7'3" long. I'm 6'3", so I'll have an extra foot in there. Obviously with bug net, it's stretchy. You can actually stake it out. You can stake out the 4 corners so you can make it larger if I need to. It's 4 feet wide, and it says that it's roughly about 36 inches tall. So like when there's a long string to tie off to things, but where it attaches to the bug net is 36 inches, so 3 feet off of the person's air mattress. And like I said, I'll probably put it in a different bag because this isn't the lightest bag, but it's very small and compact. Obviously, I don't want to carry a bug net that's heavy all the time when I'm only going to use it for a specific part of the season when it's buggy. So I think this will be great. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on how to set up rectangle flat tarps. So I am no expert by any means. I've set one up a few years back and slept under. It was just a nice summer night just for fun. But I am going to train myself and teach myself how to use it. Today, like I said, we're going to set up it just normal. But in my thinking, without using it yet, I figured there's basically 4 ways I'm going to use this whole system, this 3-part system. One will be just simple cowboy camping. I'll take the Altiplex DCF ground sheet, just put my air mattress on it and sleep. If it's going to be a nice night, but it's buggy, I can get close to, there's a couple ways to do it. Get close to an overhanging tree branch. It's got a very long, stretchy cord to hold the net, and basically just cowboy camp and have the net over me. That's, of course, when it's warm or you know it's going to be a nice night. The other way is when I'm using the tarp, it would just be using the tarp in case there's some inclement weather coming in, but it's not buggy. And then, of course, when it's the buggy time of year, my plan is to try to use the net underneath the tarp. I bought 2 loops that I have not attached yet, so I won't be able to do it today and show it to you, but the next time you see some of the variations of my setups, I'll show you how the bug net, maybe I'll just do a video on that alone. But I bought 2 loops that attach to the top of the bug net. So my theory is when I have more time to play with the tarp, I'm going to get under there, especially being tall. The thing's 10 foot long and I'm 6'3", so I have about roughly 2 feet on either end. So depending on which way the maybe rain's coming from or wind, I'll try to get down to the other end. But I want to put 2 loops underneath, but in from the ends of the tarp so that I can attach my bug net from. So they're just going to be there. I think they each weigh like 0.2 of an ounce. They're just little adhesive loops I'm going to put on the underside of the tarp. And those will just always be there, but I'm going to put one on either end. So when I'm setting up, I don't have to think about, oh, I got to turn it around because this loop's over there or on that. I'm going to put 2 loops, and then it'll be all set. Okay, the 4th thing, and it's really not a component of this new system I have, this tarp system, but it's stakes because I use them on the triplex. But I'm going to use different ones. I've used the same stake setup for my triplex for a long time. I have longer, bigger ones to help support that tent. But I'm going to try something different with the tarp. I have 2 the larger size MSR groundhogs for the main ends, the openings, where I have my 2 trekking poles supporting the tent. They take the brunt of the supporting the tent, the tarp. So I'm going to use bigger stakes for those 2, but I'm going to use the titanium shepherd hooks for all the other corners. So I think I save about an ounce, and it's just physically smaller. And I told you that's my goal, is not only to go lighter but smaller. In this case, if I had to carry more stakes to put this thing up, I would, and I will if I have to. All right, so it's going to be my main voyage setting this thing up. I'm not going to bore you with like time lapse setting it up. I'm just going to set it up with the tarp all set up and then let you see that and see how it goes. Okay, here's the first of 4 ways of using the system, and that's the simple cowboy camping. You can see I have a new external mattress that I'll go over in another video, but it's a long and wide, so it's 25 inches wide and 72 inches long for reference. See that though? Watch my shadow there, but there you go. Easy to cowboy camp. Just throw down the ground sheet. I have the shepherd hooks on the 4 corners. Very simple, right? All right, here's setup number 2 when it's going to be a nice night and it's buggy. This isn't ideal. What I would normally do, you have this cord, which I think is great with this. You can actually have this way up on a tree above, which is probably what I'll normally do. There's some trees over there, but they're not set up right. But yeah, so, or you could tie this like to tree behind you to keep it up like that. And you can see how and I could slide that air mattress. Let me do that right now, real quick. So let's just slide it up there. So let's say we're up here. It's slightly smaller than my ground sheet, which is okay. But yeah, let's look on from the other side. Not bad, right? So that's your way of cowboy camping on a nice night if it's buggy. All right, guys, there it is. That's 10 feet long by 8.5 feet wide. And the wind's coming from this way, so that's why it's going to push in a little bit on this side. I don't have the, it's centered perfectly underneath, but it doesn't really matter. But just wanted to show you the setup, man. I'm really, really excited about this. I'm not very fast at it or very accurate, but I'll get there. You can use trees instead of these trekking poles. You can use, I've seen people use branches from wood, things like that. Just whatever you want. This is set up pretty high. You know, I'm tall, so like, you know, I want to be able to have room to move around and sit up and change clothes or whatever. But yeah, what do you guys think? All right, lastly, and the fourth mode would be this with the bug net hanging from it. I'm actually going to attempt to put it on there. I've got to glue the two tabs underneath there. So this, I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm going to do that, see if it'll stick on there enough to hold the net up so you can get a visual of it. The one thing I was thinking about that might be a problem is when I have this all the way down these edges to the ground for storm mode to keep rain and wind out, and it's all the way down, it's going to bring, and I'm also going to would lower this pole much lower, so this probably is only like this high, but it'd be really low to get out of the wind and to not let the weather in. But the problem I'm going to have is buggy. The net's not going to be that much higher over my face, but I could still get it to where if I stick it out wide enough, it'll give me protection. Usually though, my experience, when it's storming, it's raining hard and it's bad weather or it's cold, the bugs go away while the storm's going on. So I might be able to, when I'm in the weather, not worry about the bug net anyway when it's bug season. So hopefully, you know, whenever I've been in a storm and things like that, the bugs go away. All right, guys, so as promised, I glued the tabs on the underside of this tarp. So they can hang, you see there's one like right here, and then there's one over there where it's hanging from. So there you go. Staked out the two ones by my feet to get that pulled out and spread out. And then I used the two up there that are conjoined with the ground sheet. So I'll show you when I get over there, but yeah, what do you think? It's windy right now, so it's making the net kind of push over to one side. That's okay though, that's real world, could happen out there. I'm liking it, really liking it. I've got to get more experience with this setup, be faster with it, but you can see here. I told you my own concern was if this was really low, then this net's going to be so low it's going to be on my face, but I think if I'm in storm mode and the weather's bad and it's windy or raining bad or snowing or something, I won't need the bug net anyway. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. It also says you don't have to stake these out. I want to, but you can just tuck in the edges of this net underneath your air mattress when you're going to sleep. Also, I wanted to mention there's no door. So basically when you get in, you just have to kind of lift up like this and crawl in. I could probably unstake one of these, get in, and then stake it back. But yeah, so there's no door, which is great. No zippers, no anything to deal with. Very, very simple. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I really had fun setting it up, and it turned out way better than I even pictured. I took this from many other people's videos, but I saw nobody that used the exact same setup as me. I just kind of made sense to me. And until I use it, I won't really know. But man, it set up and it was not as very hard, and just looked and turned out better than I thought. So now if I go with this system, this is my whole thing. I got the tarp, I got the ground sheet, and I got the bug net. Of course I have some stakes, but all total, these three parts alone, the stakes are a little lighter than my other ones, but not counting the stakes, this is under 1 pound. It's about 15.7 pounds, so under a pound. My old tent alone without the ground sheet was 25.3 ounces plus 4.3 for the ground sheet. So definitely a space savings, as you can see. and a weight saving. So anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe and like. I'm now on track to try to get to 10,000 subscribers. So help me get there. I appreciate it. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I have a video like this. I will be making another one, like I said, with some different setups with the tarp, just like storm mode and some different ones. There's even one you can kind of make almost like a 3-sided tent. So I'm going to practice first and research some more, and then I'll do a video for that. But anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you down the trail.